Revealed. I want to give my daughters some because they've been disturbing me. Daddy, we want to be a part of this. I said, yes, you girls can be a part of it. So I want to give room for my daughters to. One of them will. There's a page in the book called the appreciation page. One of them is going to read it out to us, and my other daughter will read about the author. Okay, so if you're ready, Yemi, come. That is Ola Bakare making her stage entrance. Don't be shy.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Ola and I'm going to be reading the appreciation for my dad's book. I thank Almighty God for guiding me through and helping me bring this book to completion. I am immensely grateful to my lovely wife, Mrs. Yetunde Bakare, and my beautiful daughters, Omokorede, Olayemi, and Omobanale, for their undying love and support throughout the implementation of this project. I also wish to acknowledge the prayers and support of my mom, Mrs. Maibat and Nike Tinubu, and my siblings, Mr. Rosu Babatunde Bakare, Mrs. Fumilaya Oshikoya, Mr. Adebodu Bakare, Mrs. Olabisi Adebuyi, Mr. Adewale Fashina, and other members of my extended family too numerous to mention. I wish to acknowledge the inspirational leadership of the Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline K. Tallinn, OFR, KSG, and with special thanks to the Actual Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Mrs. Informa Nukeruka Anabongu, for her motherly love, guidance, wise counsel, and for graciously accepting to edit and write the foreword for this book. I also like to delightfully acknowledge my close and reliable friends worldwide for their constructive advice and suggestions aimed at making the process of writing this book as seamless as possible. Finally, special thanks goes to the membership of Men and Owner Abuja and Lagos chapters.
Thank you very much, Yemi. I'm so proud of you. I'll be calling on your sister now to give the audience a little bit about the author. So, Omokorede Bakare, you have the stage now. Come on.
Hello everyone, my name is Omokorede Bakare and I'm here to tell you about the author. Otunba Bakare holds a BSc degree in statistics at the University of Ilori, Masters in Business Administration at the University of Ado-Ekiti, Advanced Diploma in Management Accounting at the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, United Kingdom, and Certificate in Bank Financial Management and Risk Management in Banking and Finance at the London City University, United Kingdom. He started his working career with the Lagos State Government. After that, he moved on to the private sector, working at the First Interstate Bank, now Unity Bank, where he worked at the Strategic Planning Department and later at one of its branches. He later moved to the United Kingdom, studying and working as the finance and head office manager of Haven Care Home Management Limited. Presently, he is the head of the transport unit at the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Abuja, Nigeria. Otunba Bakare is the seasoned administrator and prolific writer. He was the contributing editor and columnist on FIB Digest and an in-house quarterly newsletter of the First Interstate Bank, now Unity Bank. He is an ardent reader, a philanthropist, a football enthusiast, friendly and fun to be with. He is happily married to Mrs. Otunba Bakare and his three lovely daughters, Omokorede, Olayemi, and Olabolande Bakare, who he fondly refers to as my babies.
Thank you. You can see that it runs in the blood. Another round of applause for my babies. Thank you so much. At this point, I want to run down some further statistics about what we're about to witness in the book. Female genital mutilation. It's a pandemic. And it is closely linked to child marriage that I spoke about earlier. Really. It's closely linked to child marriage I spoke about earlier. This is the cutting of the clitoris, and because some certain communities believed that unless that is done to a lady, she will turn out to be a prostitute or a slut or things like that. Wrongly though, but it happens. In fact, in Eritrea, the prevalence of female genital mutilation is 83%. That is, the probability of having 10 Eritrean girls and having them subjected to such heinous act is 83%. That is, almost 9 of them will have that procedure. More recent studies show some more alarming figures for some African countries. Sudan has 67% female genital mutilation rate. Egypt has 15%. Sorry, Egypt has 38%. Kenya has 15%. Guinea also has 15%, and Nigeria has 13%. Now, let's move away from that. Talk about underage pregnancy and childbirth. Do you know that annually 16 million girls aged between 15 and 19 and 1 million girls under 15 give birth globally? You can see that alarming figures. Out of those figures, out of about 17 million girls globally, 70,000 girls lose their life during pregnancy and childbirth. This makes complication during pregnancy and childbirth the second highest cost of death for young girls aged between 15 and 19. These are alarming figures. And this book seeks to raise our awareness on things like that. Furthermore, the book spoke about, because cruelty does not end specifically with child marriage, female genital mutilation, and things like that. There are instances whereby women and children become collateral damage to the choices taken by women. Such instances is stratification and segregation. Okay? There are some policies, there are some practices that breed such. Example of such practices is what they call the caste system. Okay, this book covers caste system in 2 countries, in Nigeria and in India. The caste system in Nigeria is the Igbo caste system, the Osu caste system. And the book shows real life examples of the effect that such system has on the victims. The Indian caste system is even worse. Do you know that their own caste system is about 3,000 years old? And it's so stratified that it has 5 castes. Okay? The 6th one, or the 5th one, the 5th one, they discriminate against them so much that they don't even include them in the normal caste system. They believe that they are deaths. These are human beings. But the society conspired to make them an outcast. Regardless of your personal pedigree or your character, once you were born into certain family, you are gone. And again, we don't have control where we were born. And people are being judged simply based on where they were born. That's why some of the things in this book, I try to interrogate our mind that racism or discrimination is not all about a white man discriminating against a black man. There are instances where people from the same race do discriminate seriously against each other. And that stratification, caste system, segregation is part of those examples. For example, the Crow Law in the US of those days, it mandates that every black guy or every black person must sit at the back of the bus. Okay? And come to think of it, 70% of the commuters those days in the buses are black, so they will still tell them to go and lump themselves at the back of the bus, while white people are given privileges to sit in the front. And again, if per chance the spaces left for the white people have been taken up, they will tell the next black row to stand up again so that the white will go there. And that's what occurred when Rosa Parks refused to stand up. I know most of us know that story. But again, that was not the first time Rosa Parks was having problem with that same bus driver. You're going to find out in the book. Before I continue to roll down some more statistics, I would like to call on the next speaker to review the book. I'm sure many people will think, oh, haven't you reviewed the book? No. The book is well researched, is well loaded. So, we have so many things to talk about that you're going to find out in the book. So let me call on my learned brother, Mr. Olukayode Okenla, is a partner in Simon Bettel Solicitor in London. He's here present and is going to review the book. Thank you so much. A round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the city of Basildon. I think Otunba Bakare has actually said so much about the city of Basildon, which I come often. I attended courts in the city of Basildon. One of the, when you were saying something about this, when I was reviewing this book and you talked about staying on humanity, one of the issues that came up was a young man from Ghana who was alleged to have raped another lady and left the country for years, and while thinking that the situation has gone, thinking that the situation has ended, got his status in America, and one day he was on his way to America, and at the airport he passed through the Heathrow, and his name his name was flagged, and so I had to do his case. It was a young man who felt he was being accused because of being a black chap, and that case was very, very funny. I think even the prison had to call me that they've never seen this type of a guy who fasted for 28 days, not eating, only drinking water. But at the end of that trial, he was discharged and acquitted, and he went to America. So anytime I remember the city of Basildon, I always remember that. And it's all about stains on humanity, discrimination that you're talking about. First and foremost, I think I want to thank the mother of the day, and Mrs. Bike Akimpelu, the chief launcher, Mr. Salim Jala, who's represented by Mr. Moses Adewale, that I know very well. The keynote speaker, Mr. Kunle Ologun, guest speaker, Mr. Aru Tinubu, the book author, members of the media, distinguished invited guests, and my friend, that's the publisher of Trumpet, Mr. Femi Okutubo. I'm sure when you, in the city of London, Mr. Femi Okutubo is well known to everyone here. So actually I invited him to be part of us. I've been given the most challenging task of today's event to x-ray and review this book titled Stain on Humanity. I know that Otunba Bakare has said so much about the books, but I'm here to whet your appetite and to take you through an extended summary of approximately 180 days. Incidentally, the author was my colleague many years ago when I was Deputy Company and Legal Advisor of First Interstate Bank in Nigeria, and he was in the strategic planning, and he was also the Deputy Editor of what we refer to then as FIB Digest, a quarterly bulletin that we send at the bank, writes and send to customers and send to the board and other members. And he has shown great potentials for creative writing. And it is apparent that he has significantly mastered the art. And I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of his achievement. Potentially, I said to him that Otunba Bakare, one day we shall celebrate your position as permanent secretary in the nearest future by the grace of God. I know that the honorable minister is very, very happy about him, and also the permanent secretary. And I follow his success, and it's a success story. And I also thank Madame and the wonderful daughters for this. The book research is in depth. The detail is very robust. Delivery of the message, as you can see, is quite very excellent. I wanted to pick 5, but I'm picking 10. And I'm picking 10 today. The print quality is quite very superb. It's also worth of note that the book forward was written by none other than the erudite scholar and administrator by excellence, Mrs. Ifeoma Anabogo, former permanent secretary, Federal Ministry of Home Affairs, a very great woman who has actually served the nation. I can assure you, before I finish reading this book, you'll be eager to grab a copy, and that's why I said I will grab 10 to have a further insight to the issues of discourse. So getting a copy and buying yourself for lockdown is a wise move to show the problems, especially the issues of life. By so doing, you are spreading the message as it enlightens, educates, and expands on global ills affecting millions of people. The book arranged in the following order: the title page, appreciation page, forward, table of contents, and then 10 chapters, references, and lastly about the author's page. Chapter 1 is titled Noxious Traditional Practices. The author discussed child marriage, dowry violence, female genital mutilation. Have actually done many cases of female genital mutilation. I remember a case that I did many years ago in Gloucester at the Manchester Crown Court, where a group of people were convicted. I happen to have defended one of them in relation to female genital mutilation, and it was a very serious case. I think they got about 4 or 5 years imprisonment, maybe about, it was in 2007 or 2008. Male child preference. That was discussed extensively. I have an ongoing case involving a son of a high prominent Nigerian, where the issue of this male child preference has become an issue. We are here in court, a Nigerian matter from the northern parts of the country, from Sokoto precisely. The late politician, I won't mention his name because of confidentiality, very well known in Nigeria, a former minister, And the issue of this male child preference became an issue, and we're at the High Court here in London over an asset worth about £15 million. And so it spoke about leveraged marriage as well in that chapter 1. Chapter 2 illustrates practical examples of the caste system, devastating effects on the victims globally. It used the southeastern Nigeria and India as a case. And I think it's something that we need to really grab. We need to grab that book to understand what is going on in the southeastern Nigeria regarding the the Osu caste system and India as a case study. Chapter 3, the author takes the readers down the memory lane, narrating a dark history of events during the fight for civil rights in the United States. And he said so much that the separatism policy of the apartheid era in South Africa, and we all know what happened in South Africa, and we all know what happened in the days, the dark history of civil rights in the United States of America. Chapter 4 shows dynamic and complicated relationships that exist globally between native and migrant of foreigners, and we can see it everywhere. And I'm sure for some of you, you can see even what is going on even in this country in relation to the removal of Clause 9 in the new Act. So the author spoke so much about the dynamics and the complications, relationships that are often turned violent if not adequately managed. In case of the xenophobia in South Africa, he dealt so much about the dynamics and the problems and the solutions and issues. Chapter 5 is titled Genocide, which is a big issue in the world now. It highlights the antics of authoritarian regimes and the consequences of having a ruler who holds absolute power, typically exercising it cruelly or oppressively. The chapter further illustrates the of one ethnic group to forcefully dominate others politically and economically, resulting in monumental violence as seen in Rwanda and Sudan. I think he dealt so much on the genocide, and we know we offer against genocide and violence. Chapter 6, because of our time, deals with the issue of racism in all forms, from the subtle and implied form to the brazen and violent state. It also highlights institutional racism, how it affects the victim's view of justice system in some society. The perception of how he dealt with that in that chapter 6. Chapter 7, the issue of racism continues, but was viewed from the European perspective. How does Europeans, the country, the Europeans, how they view racism? Chapter 8, it's titled Sport Out Racism. It takes readers into the world of sport, and we know what's going on in the world of sport, highlighting several instances where black athletes were subjected to prejudices and discrimination. So the author went through all this to be able to show the problems, even within how can we wipe out racism in sports. Chapter 9, which is a big issue, dealt with secretive world of religious cults. And we know that this is currently things that pervade our society, Nigeria, even here, gangsterism and all sorts of things. With the issue of cultism, it illustrates the activities of some of the most religious cult groups in either exist or having existed worldwide, highlighting their unorthodox, sometimes extreme beliefs and religious norms with devastating results. So the author was able to deal with quite a lot of this. Chapter 10, before I round up, dealt with a summary, the societal ills, and refer to them as stain on humanity. You see, you'll be able to look at it like, is there a stain on humanity? I think the book is quite very good for each and every one of us to make sure that we have a copy. I hope I've given you a good insight into the book's content and successfully whet your appetite. But I will encourage you that if you have a copy of that book, make sure that it's in your library. And I'm sure that many of us will be eager to co-launch this literary work with a significant amount to encourage the author. I've been I could see even on Facebook that this book was successfully launched in Abuja by the minister, and also in Lagos by the deputy governor of Lagos State, a former deputy governor of Lagos State. And I'm convinced that you will record the resourcing success also in the UK. So I want every one of us to be part and parcel of this book. Once again, I congratulate congratulate Otunba Bakare for your efforts, and I know I've always known you as someone who is very hard work, and I've known Mr. Bakare, whether I used to know him as Mr., but he's now Otunba. So once again, congratulations to you. It was a great, I remember in First Interstate Bank, this man will work day and night toiling on strategic issues of the bank, and I think they will come to Lega when they have issues, and I'm proud of what you have been doing and what you have done and what you have achieved the last few years. God bless you.
You quite agree with me that if you want a good reviewer, get a lawyer. Thank you so much, my very good brother. We've gone way back, Mr. Olukayode Okela. He's a very, very sound mind. These are the kind of people you invite when you are doing things like this. I must say once again that I'm so proud of everybody that is here. Some friends will only come if you tell them you're having a birthday or a party. The whole place will be filled up. But you see, we have been brought up well. We have studied hard. We've gone to schools, some of the best schools. And that should count for something. We should be able to compete head and shoulders with the best. It shouldn't be only party. We should be able to, contribute our own quota intellectually to a lot of discourse. So, again, don't get tired of me. You'll be seeing this face very well because this is just the start. I'm a good writer. I've been writing all my life. When we're in the bank, some of us are here. They can be a witness. I was the contributing editor for the bank in-house magazine. That was many years ago. So we've been writing. But we've not really published a book like this. And I saw that it's something I have in me. Once the idea is great, let's put it to paper and build something. In fact, I have a couple of ideas now. And by virtue of this book, some prominent people have already told me that I will write their autograph. Just going through the book, they already contacted me that, come, you are the one that will write my autograph. So at least I have 3 prominent people now that I'm going to write their autographs. I mean, that notwithstanding, I will still continue my own authorship. I have 2 great ideas now that we are going to put to publication. I don't know the time. Writing a book takes time. It takes long time. You have to really do your homework and research very well, and you make sure that your delivery is very apt. So, now, before I call on the keynote speaker, let me whet our appetite again with some statistics. Sorry, I'm talking about statistics. I read statistics as first degree, so it helps. So I'm a data person, and I'm an accountant again. So then you now ask, why is he writing? Sometimes what you read and what you have flair for is quite different. But it's always good to really recognize your potential and be able to go about it. If you give me an account and you tell me to interpret the account, the way I'm going to interpret it, you will love it because I can write. So I will break the figures down for you and explain what is really happening to your company. So it helps. Now, one of the issues again this book deals with is racism. It's a very thorny issue. It's something that we all Africans, we are in Europe. So I look at racism in very different forms. I look at it in the pure form, the pure and brazen racism, the one you see a white man discriminating openly against a black person. Okay? But I went beyond that, as I explained earlier, I look at racism even within the same people, you understand? And again, I look at racism from the sporting angle as well. For example, we all know Augusta in the US, golf course, is a Masters, where they play Masters, okay? This is a very, that's the A-list place they play golf in the whole world. Once you win the Masters, you are there. Everybody knows you in the world of golf. Now, do you know that black players were not allowed to participate or compete in the Masters until 1975? They weren't even allowed black players there. Now, what is so significant about 1975? That was the year they gave back to Tiger Woods, that later came to dominate the world of golf. In fact, it was the year they gave back to him that they began to allow black players to come there. Do you also know that the Augusta does not allow black membership? As in, no matter how rich you are as a black man, you can play at other golf courses, but not at Augusta. They believe this elite is very elitist. Okay? Not until 1990. That's when they begin to allow black membership of the Augusta. Do you also know that in the Masters tournament in Augusta, it's only black people that they are caddies? You know, caddies are the people that follows the player, the white player. It's only black people that follows them until 1982. Do you know that there was a survey conducted by the European Union Agency for Fundamental Rights, and they subjected a questionnaire to about 6,000 respondents in 12 European countries, including France and Germany, between 2015 and 2018. They found that 30% of the respondents, that is 30% of 6,000 people, reported racial harassment even by the police. They recorded 63% of such incidences in Finland, 21% in the United Kingdom, 20% in Malta, and like that. A certain boy called Stephen Lawrence, I'm sure many of us might remember his case, was killed on the street of London by complete strangers. They don't know him. They just pick on him. They saw a black boy at night walking alone. They pounced on him and killed him. And we all remember the case of a certain man called George Floyd in the United States that was killed on the street of Minneapolis by police, who kneeled on his neck and he kept shouting, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." Such cases were covered as well. Having said that, the book also covered okay, let me save that for the next interlude. At this point, I want to happily call on the keynote speaker in the person of Mr. Kunle Ologun. He is the CEO of K90 News Channel. Please, a round of applause for him, please.
Hi, everyone. Greetings to everyone that made it here today. It's Christmas Eve, and I'm sure there's so much happening in our various homes, but we chose to show love to our brother to be here. And thank you so much for coming. I want to recognize the presence of the mother of the day, Mrs. Abike Akimpelu. Thank you so much for coming, ma'am. Also, the chief launcher, Mr. Salim Dala Hebul, represented by Mr. Moses Adewale, and also the book reviewer, Mr. Olukayode Okenla. That was extraordinary review. I didn't know some of those information you've given about the book. I will definitely want to go for more of those books as well, definitely. And also, I want to recognize the book author, Mr. Kabir Ola Bakare. That's my big brother. Members of the media, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to have been invited to book launch or to this book launch and deliver the keynote speech. It's a great honor and privilege to be part of this dream from my big brother. You don't get this often. It's a great opportunity, it's a great privilege to be part of this. And I'm really, really grateful. So I just want to say the first thing is I want to thank him for the wonderful work, the excellent work in writing this book, because we can relate with these activities in our everyday life, in our communities. These are, contemporary issues that someone has taken time to call out, and we should acknowledge that effort. We should say thank you to him for that. I've known him now for about 30 years, just over 30 years, early 80s, back home in Africa. And he has this charisma, uniting people, bringing people together, helping in the communities, popularly known. We were thinking probably at some point he will become the president of Nigeria. Hopefully, we are looking forward to that. And, he has been on the editorial board of First Interstate Bank, now Unity Bank in Nigeria. And just last year, 2020, he was given Outstanding Performance Award by the Nigeria's Minister for Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, for his excellent work in the Women Affairs in Nigeria. This is extraordinary. The book, Stain on Humanity, is premised on true life story. As everyone has said, this is extraordinary revelation, or these are extraordinary revelations from this book. I've gotten some statistics today that I don't know of. I've heard of Stephen Lawrence, when he was murdered in Peckham, but I did not know some of those other stories that came with it. So thank you so much for sharing that. So the book highlights various events where profound cruelty was committed against humanity. It establishes that racism is an act that is learned, one that is greatly influenced by societal tolerance and prejudice and discrimination. It also described instances where people were debased, degraded, and detested. The way you are treated, the opportunity you have, and the respect you receive are primarily influenced by your skin color. However, there are other instances where reprehensible acts with no racial connotation were also committed against human beings. Throughout the book are incidences of cruelty such as physical and sexual abuse, neglect, injustice, deprivation, and denial of human rights committed against people of different creeds and color. In addition, the first two chapters dealt with issues such as child marriage, dowry violence, female genital mutilation, male preference, levirate marriage, and devastating effects of the caste system that he has just spoken about. Other chapters also enumerated instances of segregation, xenophobia, genocide, tyranny, honor killing, forced prostitution, and rape. Interestingly, the victims of these horrific crimes, especially honor killing, child marriage, sex trafficking, dowry violence, and female genital mutilation, are primarily women and children. While confirming that these societal ills are cut across tribes, religions, and communities worldwide, the book also aims to draw public attention to issues pertinent to gender inequality. The book is poised to promote social and political awareness on issues that are globally affecting millions of people. In a real context, let's think about what is happening around us. Recently, I want to cast our memories back to few issues that this book has exactly, pointed to. I want to start with the story of a couple. They are Syrian couple that came into the UK from Syria. They sought asylum. They lived in Manchester, and they were granted the asylum. They were in their 20s. They have 3 kids, and shockingly, this gentleman was maltreating the lady, abusing her. At some point, he would tell her that make some food for myself and my friends. We are coming home to have dinner. And he would get into the kitchen, he would pick those foods, mock them, throw them on the ceiling, and start beating this lady. And the lady then decided to go ahead to seek what is known as non-molestation order. Here in the UK, if you have that, any form of harassment against you, the gentleman could be jailed for up to 5 years. She moved out of the house with those kids. And then there are 2 brothers of this gentleman. The man could not see her anymore. The 2 brothers then started calling this lady and saying, let's see our kids. They bring these 3 kids. I mean, this story is on K90 channel. It's on YouTube. I spoke about it. I do a lot on YouTube. I'm going to come into that in a day. So, the lady took the 3 kids to the brother's house, and on getting there, found the husband there as well, and told the 2 brothers, you never said my husband is here. And shockingly, those 2 brothers took those 3 kids and left the building. It was shown on the CCTV. This is on Sky News, BBC. I'm sure you may not know. Those 2 brothers took the 3 kids out and left the lady with the man in the house. They started arguing. It got so hot, he strangled her and killed her. Here in Manchester. It didn't end there. He removed her clothes, wore it, and left the building to show as if she had left as well to the CCTV. It was clearly shown that the lady left the building, but it was covered in hood. It was that gentleman. And then spoke to the 2 brothers. They came back with caravan. They took the body into a travel bag, moved it into a caravan, and drove that body, disposed it off. Long story short, this gentleman till date, they never said where that gentle lady's body was buried. Up till date, but he was jailed with those 2 brothers of his. This is violence against women. Another recent one that we might have heard in the news is Arthur, a 6-year-old boy whose mom had another boyfriend that she eventually stabbed her boyfriend, and she was jailed. And then the mom left the dad. The dad now sought the custody of Arthur in the UK. The dad was granted his custody. A 6-year-old boy. Now, by that time, Arthur's dad is now living with another lady. And then Arthur was living with the dad, with the new lady. This little boy was so shockingly, violently abused that the boy at some point was filmed saying, no one loves me. Please, can you just feed me? Can you just feed me? This was recorded by the girlfriend of the dad. And long story short, the boy died. This was 2 weeks ago in the UK. This boy died. There was autopsy that was carried out. 137 injuries was discovered in the boy's body. He was severely beaten by the dad and the new girlfriend. There might be other people watching this or listening to me from different part of the world that might not be, familiar with the life in UK and saying they don't understand this story, I've got another key one for you, which is the last one. We must have heard of Sylvester Oromoni in Nigeria just 3 weeks ago, Dowen University, Lekki in Lagos. He was sent to the university by the parent, to the college by the parent. This is a 12-year-old boy. And then in the hand of the seniors, he was beaten time and time again, dragged from the bunk to the floor, stepped on time and time again, until the parents came in and the boy was in severe pain. And Sylvester died, a 12-year-old boy. Ketem Shaw, so many top artists in Nigeria cried out, and the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu decided to shut down the college, Dowen College in Lekki. These are instances of cruelty against women and children. If you are talking of the ones that are 10, 15, 20 years ago, 1980, you may not understand. But these things are happening just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. These are contemporary issues. That is why I honor this gentleman. I respect him to have taken so much time to go divert his attention, research deeply, to write exhaustively about this cruelty. Once again, let us give a round of applause to this gentleman, my honorable brother Otunba Ola Bakare, for this wonderful work. Having said all that, the key stakeholders in this industry, they've got so much work to do. The key stakeholders, including the government, the NGOs, parents, we all have work to do. We need to get involved. We can save lives. We need to be part of this. He has contributed his own part by calling it out. And on that note, I want to encourage you, please grab as many copies. I was going to go for up to 5 copies before. I will now be going for 10 as well. Because I have so many friends to hand that out to. They need to read more about these things, because reading more, being educated about these things could save lives. If only the parents of Sylvester knew this kind of thing could be happening in that Dowen College, the boy might still be alive today. And the only way we can do that, get this book across to as many people so that they will not sleep with their 2 eyes closed saying, my children are in the boarding school and they're enjoying, but rather they want to know what their children are doing in those boarding school. So on that note, I'll be rounding up by saying that I want to say thank you so much to everyone for coming. K90 channel, I'm the CEO. Well, I present news on that channel every week. It's about African news, Nigerian news. There's a video coming out tonight, tomorrow. If you have not subscribed, please kindly do so. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you so much for being part of this, and have a blessed afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much. It's very strange calling him by his name, Kunle Ologun. It's Alaba to me, simply Alaba, So as I said, we've been together for more than 30 odd years. So I'm so happy that he's here, and he gave a very good moving presentation. At this point, we are gradually rounding up. It's the last, or second to the last event for the night. I will call on the book launcher, but before I do that, let me also whet your appetite about the book one more time. Chapter 9 of the book covers, the title of chapter 9 is Coerced Illusion. Okay? So, what that means is that, yes, we've spoken about various societal ills. But some people commit crime, commit things that are stained on humanity without knowing it. They are under coerced illusion. And the easiest way to become coerced is through religion. Okay? So many religious leaders just try to, hypnotize brainwash their followers by saying some absurd things and leading them to do some funny things. So ignorance, I'm sorry, my Leonard colleague or my Leonard brother, we are not colleagues. Ignorance is not an excuse for a crime. Okay? You might have been brainwashed, but the crime is still the crime. If your pastor have told you or your imam to go and blow a place or kill people, you've committed a crime. Okay? Fine, you have been brainwashed to do that, but you have still committed a crime and is still considered as a stain on humanity. This book, chapter 9, covers a lot of that. You will see instance where a pastor told his congregants that his wife is Jesus Christ, that he should be worshiping his wife. One good thing about this book is that I said it. I name names, the state it happened, the name of the person, the dates, everything is there. Are you with me? So it's real life events. So how can someone just tell congregation that his wife is Jesus Christ, they've been watching him, and they are there worshiping the woman? It's strange. Okay? You will see instances where another pastor, I went around the world, though. It's not only maybe in America or in England, so everywhere. Because I try to, let people understand that this is a global issue. It has nothing to do with Africa or Europe or America. It's everywhere. So I try to balance it, give examples of things that happen everywhere. There's another pastor that told his congregant that, come on, I have spoken to God. And me and God, we have decided that it's only 144 people that will enter heaven. Can you imagine? How can somebody just stand there and tell people that it's only 144 people that will enter heaven? Now, the question is this. Even his own congregants are more than 144 people. So, it means it's not all of them that will even make the heaven. So, you can see how strange it can be. And there are other instances where people are so coerced that the government is coming, they are coming to disturb us in this our sanctuary, let all of us drink poison and we'll die together. And can you imagine almost 1,000 people drank poison and died? It can look funny, but these things are happening. I mentioned the place, mentioned the people involved, and everything. It happened. In fact, they killed a United States representative. And you will see others that will say, okay, every lady in this congregation, whether you are a child or a grown-up, you are all my wife. And the pastor will be sleeping with all of them. Coerced illusion, chapter 9. And you will see an instance where some certain religious leaders told their congregation that the world will come to an end on a certain day. Okay? Now, naturally, the congregants believed them. But, you see, one good thing about God is that day will come. And everybody was like, we are still alive now, what's going on here? So they begin to question the leadership of the church. Oh God, we are not dying now, what's happening? So the leadership came together and said to themselves, this thing, we can't lie this thing again, so what do we do? They now suggested that let's increase the date, that God has told us again that the date is now March instead of January. Okay, everybody waited. When the March date was, approaching, And they knew that the world is not going to come to an end. So they devised a very good move. They told everybody, "We are going to church." And they set fire. 700 people just died like that. Coerced illusion. They will so much brainwash you, you will think what they are saying is the thing. There are instances in Japan where the leadership of their own, I don't call them, that's why I say religious cults, because most of them profess Christianity and the Bible and all that, but I don't think they are Christians anyway. They brainwash their congregants to go and blow up the subway station, which they did. So, this power of brainwashing and persuasion is very, very powerful. But as I said from the beginning, you can't hide under the fact that we are brainwashed. What you did is still wrong, and you still, you'll be jailed, and it still form part of what I consider a stain on humanity. At this point, let's launch the book without taking much of our time. I will call on the chief launcher, ably represented, Mr. Salim Dala, ably represented by Mr. Moses Adewale.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. What the book writer just said just now reminded me of President Trump, coerced illusion. Yes. I think he mentioned that you can drink the toy to cure coronavirus. Hopefully, none of us tried it here. I am here today representing Mr. Dala, and he has asked me to read this keynote on his behalf. Mother of the day, Mrs. Abike Akinpelu, community public health care specialist. Thank you for coming, ma'am. The book reviewer, Mr. Olukayode Okenla, partner Simon Bettel, Solicitors London. Thank you for coming, sir. Mr. Olukayode was my colleague in First Interstate Bank. Yes. The guest speaker, Mr. Riwan Tinubu, CEO, Noble Spear Limited. Thank you for coming, sir. The book author, Mr. Otunba Ola Bakare, which I fondly call Oli. Well done, bro. Good job. Members of the media, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I think I missed out the keynote speaker, Mr. Kunle Ologun, my good brother, CEO K90 Channels. Thank you for coming, sir. I feel honored and privileged to have been invited as the chief launcher of this book. Firstly, let me crave your indulgence to tell you my relationship with Mr. Ola. As I fondly call him, he was formerly one of my employees and arguably the best. He spent about 6.5 years working for me, and he really assisted when my care home business empire was taking off. He handles all my financial transactions, write the checks, settle the suppliers, interface with banks, and discharges his duties excellently. He is very honest, and at the time, he was even the one keeping my international passport. This explains how much trust I repose in him. He left my employment around November 2012, and we have become family friends, always keeping in touch with each other. We have become so close that we always see each other anytime he visits his family in the UK. As we all know, writing a book is not a small feat, and every effort in direction should be applauded, supported, and encouraged. I am therefore happy to be part of those celebrating him today. A lot have been said about the content of the book, so I'd rather go ahead and show my unalloyed support by launching it with a sum of £1,000. That's Salim Dala. I want to also urge you or to co-launch this book with whatever amount you have to support the brilliant author. Thank you and God bless. I also will be launching the book by getting 10 copies. Hey. Because yesterday I was still confused of what to give out as Christmas gifts to my teenagers and their friends. So this book will definitely be a good one to give to them. Thank you.
You see, I'm so elated. He has just read the speech of the chief launcher. Both of us have worked for this person at some point in this country. As he said in the speech, there was a time, I've even forgotten, that I used to keep his own international passport. He's a very big man, and he's an Indian man. For him to repose such trust in me, I'm the one that writes all the checks. I'm the head office manager those days. I worked with him for 6.5 years in this country. We started as he rightly said, we started his care home empire together. Okay, when I met him, he was into export with Africa. Then I told him, okay, this country, healthcare, it's something. Then he said, okay, you've been working in strategic planning in the bank. Bring up business proposal. That's how we came about the issue of care homes. Okay, so I wrote the proposal for him. This is how many odd years now? I started working for him in 2006. So that's a long time ago. So we started together. We bought Hartfield Heaven. We bought Beach House. We bought the New Grange. We bought Langley Care Home. We bought about 5. But now, even between that time and now, it's just increased to about 6. So I'm really part of the success story. I left the employment, as I said, like November 2012. But we've been very close since that time. He calls me almost all the time. Anytime I come to the UK, we always sit out, we sit together, and so I'm not surprised that he's launching with this amount. In fact, he has even paid it to my account. A round of applause for him. He sent it to my account yesterday. And he called me this morning to wish me well and asked me, I hope others is going to support you. As I said to him, I said, well, money is important because it costs me a lot for the kind of quality the book is. But I told him, I said, you see, it's the content that matters to me much. Okay, I want people to really relate to what I've brought up, to the issues in display. And I've been getting good reviews. People have bought it all over the world, and I've been getting good reviews. And I'm so elated that it's not to have the crowd, it's to have the people that knows the value of what the body of work that you have put forward. I'm so surprised. None of my friends gave me any inclination that they'll be buying 10 copies, This is great. I'm so happy. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So, others have the opportunity of launching it. And I want to give an opportunity to some of us here. I want to give the microphone to Madame, the mother of the day, to have a say. Thank you so much. This is a big
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Otun. It's a privilege to be invited to this book launching today, and I'm really happy to be part of the team here. I happen to know Otun through our Madam, Mrs. Bakare, here today. I work in the health sector. I've been a nurse for the past 20 years. About 35 years now in Nigeria. Big glory. Yes, so Mrs. Bakare happened to be one of our staff back in then 2000 and over 20 years now. Very lovely lady, very cool-headed. She calls everybody mama, mama, mama. As well as see her mama. Thank God for that, So, and we've been nice family, been together, ups and downs, share things with each other. And when the second girl, what the name again? Yeah, we were the name is that's the first time I met Otun with a few of my colleagues, and we've been so lovely family, friendly, respectful, really appreciate and the good work you have done, putting this book, it's been it's a big challenge. When I saw the title, I was not even thinking about anything related to healthcare that I'll be so, related, it's everything that you have spoken, everything you have written, it's all there. It's happening. I haven't read the book, but with the review, with the summary, and everybody has said it's just what is happening, which is a big, lots of issues, talk of FGM, talk of, coercion, talk of, black racism all over. It's happening and it's still happening. So this is really going to be insight for people to have copies to read about it. And I'll be buying 10 copies. Merry Christmas. God bless you all.
At this point, I want to give others room if anybody wants to launch more than a copy. Let's celebrate you, signify. So I will bring the mic to you, or I'll call you to the mic. Cosmos is signifying. Thank you so much. That's a good friend of mine.
Good evening, all. The mother of the day, Mrs. Akimpelu, our distinguished personalities on the high table, the Bakares, member of the media, distinguished guests. My name is Cosmos Adrojaye, the Executive Director of Programs, Kakadev Initiative Nigeria. Kakadev stands for Child Aid, Community Care and Development. I'll be launching this book with 5 books. 2 in Abuja National Library, 2 in the suburb of Abuja, that's Nasarawa State of Karo of Nasarawa State, and 1 for my family.
Thank you so much. He's a good friend of mine. We're in the same secondary school. And he, as he rightly said, he has an NGO. Again, if you look at the book, it's registered with the National Library. I have the ISBN number, so it's already it's registered. So, and also, I have done the copyright. I have the certificate for the copyright. It's only the patent now. In Nigeria it's different. When you do the copyright, you just do the content. That's the copyright. But the patent is the name. You have to do that one separate. They have these ways of doing their things. So everybody have been telling me that the title is very catchy. That's why I can patent the title. Nobody else can use that stain on humanity, which I will do when I get back to the country. At this point, do we have any other person that want to launch the book?
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, high table, the author and everyone gathered, I'd launch with, I'll buy 5 books for £100.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. India. Okay. One of our gentlemen here.
At K90 channel, Mr. Adagun and Mr. Moses on the iTable. Nice to meet you, sir. And I think it's a wonderful thing you're doing. I'd like to support, our brothers and sisters when we're doing wonderful things like this. I'm a great believer in, for you to know where you're going, you need to know where you're coming from. And a lot of the reason why I believe we as a race of people don't really probably know what we need to do sometimes is because we don't document things properly. We rely on oral history a lot, and then sometimes people tell us things that we ourselves should know of ourselves. So when I see people writing and documenting and making moves like this, it makes me quite proud. So well done, sir. And also, it's a way to teach to better our society. So quite proud of you for this, sir. I think I'll support with 15 copies, sir.
That happened during the launch of this book. I launched it in Abuja. I launched it in Lagos Airport Hotel, and this is the third one. During the Lagos launch, the book reviewer, you know what he did? He gave a copy of this book to his daughter, 11-year-old daughter. He didn't tell me. So when we called on him to come and review the book on stage like this, he just held his phone and called his daughter on live television and the daughter was reviewing the book. I was very, very taken aback. I was surprised that an 11-year-old girl have read the book and understood it. To be able to say something about the book. So it's reader friendly. It's something that you can give to your kids and and people to read around you. So thank you so much for your support. I thank you. And at this point, we'll be coming to the end of the program. I've just told people to be going around and be giving you the number of copies you requested for, and the account number is everywhere. You can call on anybody to give you that. And if it's cash you can as well do that. But I am very, very proud of everybody that came here today. As I said, you'll be seeing more of my face. So we'll be doing intellectual things together. It's not only parties and hanging out and drinking. We have to put our name on the map. It might not be quickly, because writing a book takes a whole long time. But still, we'll be dishing out quality things and things that we'll all be proud of. Thank you for coming. I want to thank you once again, and we'll come to the end of the program. Thank you.